Hello everyone, welcome to my currently inked for March 2026. I have 12 pens here inked up. I will talk about a few extras at the end to include an update on the pens that I bought at the Baltimore Pen Show. So I have quite a few pens, so let's get started. The first pen is a really very inexpensive pen. This is, I don't even know if this pen has a name, but it's from the Five Below store. It comes in a set of, I think, 5 or 6 different colors. And I had the one with the black cartridge. I didn't know that they actually came with different color cartridges based on the color of the bodies. But I saw that Chris Science had a video where she went through each pen, and they do have different color cartridges, which is pretty interesting. I got this earlier in the month and actually gave away a few at the Baltimore Pen Show for the freebie table and just kept a few for myself. So I'm just going to go through the gray one with the black cartridge. So this is the Five Below. I was interested in this pen because it has a Lamy type of a nib, so I was curious as to how it would write. And it's a fine steel, and it just writes very nicely. It's really smooth. It has a nice amount of feedback. Just an excellent pen for the price. I'm not sure what I paid for it. It was either $5 or $6, but anyway, it's probably around $1 a pen. Nothing fancy about the pen. Pretty nondescript. You have a clear portion of the cap, and injection molded body. But it feels solid. It's a nice starter pen. A nice pen if you want to use it for art, considering it has a bunch of different color cartridges. But it was a nice surprise. I had bought another set of I think they were calligraphy pens from Five Below that weren't as nice as this. I think I just kind of tossed them aside because they were pretty scratchy. But pleasant surprise, and it's inked with, like I said, the black cartridge. Next we have a Hero H718. I've talked about these pens quite a bit on my channel. I have another one in silver. It's a retractable. These pens are definitely in my top, I would definitely say top 10, maybe top 5, I'm not sure. This is a medium 10 karat gold nib. Doesn't really have any line weight variation. Just a really nice writer that I enjoy writing with. It's always inked with Auto Oud Red Roses. Both of them, I inked them both with Auto Oud Red Roses. It's a retractable. It took me a bit to get used to the filling mechanism. You have to pull it out. See, I still fiddle with it. You have to pull this out, and then that activates the piston. But no issues. I've had these pens, gosh, has to be about 3 years, and no issues. Now they are girthy. I found them to be comfortable. There's no slipping or anything. I keep my hands down here. It's pretty comfortable. Of course, it doesn't post. But I really love these pens. And I was kind of desperate to refill my Auto Oud inks. But luckily, I thought I was going to have to order them from Cult Pens or Apple Boom because I couldn't find any retailers in the U.S. But luckily, I ran up on Blake from Paper Mines, and he had some of these inks, so I was able to get Another bottle of Red Roses, they now call it Young Rose, and Blue Ocean. Both of these are scented inks, and I also have one that smells like cherry. I think it's called Wild Cherry. I have that around here somewhere as well. It was a pretty good experience buying from Blake. He's in San Francisco, and the ink came here pretty quickly. I paid a little extra for UPS because my USPS is a little challenging at times, but check him out. You know, his selection is a little smaller than the typical store, but he has really good prices, and yes, I recommend him. Next pen is the Waldman Salon, which came in my Trufe box way back when I was subscribing to that. This has a leather body. It's a thin layer of leather here and a sterling silver cap. And so just a steel nib. And this pen, it uses I don't know, kind of converter it uses. It only came with a cartridge, and I threw out the cartridge. And I had a time finding a converter that would work. It's almost on fumes. It's almost empty. Hopefully I can get through this video, or this portion of the video. Oh my goodness. I must say that this pen is not super inspiring to write with. It's a solid pen, but just not one that, you know, if I had a choice that I would pick up. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty noisy, but all in all, it's a nice pen. Like I said, it's just not, if it makes any sense, it's not really inspiring to write with. It's a little thin, but the grip is comfortable. I don't find it to slip at all because it has a nice lip. You can't post it. It just becomes very long. Not back weighted, but just long. Okay, it's an okay pen. Not something that I would purchase, I think, if I had the choice. But it's a nice, nice option for the Trufe box. Next is a Cross Bailey Light. This is part of their translucent series they recently came out with. This is, as you can see, it's translucent green. The one thing I would complain about with these is that it's really hard to pull the cap off. It's really tight. But it has a nice seal in there. None of my Cross Bailey lights have ever dried out on me, and I have quite a few of them. And when I saw these, I had to get everyone in every color. Because as you know, well, if you've been here a while, you know that I'm a big fan of Cross. That's the Cross company is how I got started with my pen addiction. Cross Bailey Light. And these write excellent. Translucent green. And I'll show you the other ones that I bought at the end. All of them are extra fine. They only come in extra fine. These do seem pretty popular because they were in and out of stock on Amazon. I did buy these on Amazon. Cross's website also offers them as well. But they've been out of stock as well sometimes. So I'm hoping Cross will stick around. It's the sentimental feeling that I have for the company. So it was nice to see that they're still producing pens. This is inked with You see it has a cross black noir cartridge in there. So I cleaned it out and left a little bit of black in there and added a little Waterman Harmonious Green to get a little bit of a darker green feel, because Waterman Harmonious Green is a little too light for me. So this gave it a little bit more depth, keeping a little bit of the black ink in there. And I didn't mention that the Waldman Salon was inked with Diamond Jingleberry. It's from the Ink Vent. I forget which year. And so I'll go on. Next we have the Visconti Van Gogh. This is the novel reader. And my goal for the month, I was trying to have a theme, but it never works out, my themes. I was trying to have a bit of a St. Patrick's Day theme, spring theme. But because I love reds and blues, it ends up being a little St. Patrick's Day surrounded by reds and blues. But this is the novel reader. I usually post the Van Goghs. Visconti Van Gogh. I've mentioned in my previous Curly Inks. I can't write and spell at the same time. I've mentioned before in my Curly Inks that I've had to pretty much tweak all of the Van Gogh nibs. And this is the novel reader. This one writes really nice now. It's a fine steel. And this is inked with Roaring Klinger Alt Gold Green. It's a fairly dry ink, as you can see. I wasn't sure that I was going to enjoy it in this pen, but it worked pretty well. I really liked this ink in this pen. It's a good combination. So that's the Van Gogh. The novel reader just has Van Gogh on the nib there. Magnetic cap. Nice pens. These are getting a little pricey right now. I think they're like $300 right now. It's kind of crazy, but I guess a lot of work goes into matching the colors with Van Gogh's, the various paintings that he's done, and getting the resins right, but it just seemed pretty pricey. Speaking of pricey, this is a Pelikan Souverain M800. This is the 40 years of Souverain. One of my Grail pens. Pelikan. I've never tried to post this, but you can. It does work. I've never tried to post it. Pelikan M800. I did have to do quite a bit of work on this nib, which is crazy considering the price. But it had baby's bottom. It's good now. You know, it's a thick Pelikan medium. It's nice in reverse. I carry this every day. I don't write with it every day, but it's in my bag that I carry to work every day. It's getting a little scuffed, but I haven't been too precious about it. I bought this off of eBay. Got a pretty good deal, but it's still a fairly expensive pen, but it's very nice. So that's the M800. This is inked with Pelikan dark green. I think this is the dark green that came with the pen, if I'm not mistaken. Came with its own ink bottle. Yeah, limited edition 4001 dark green. It just looks like a normal green to me, not super dark. It is darker than the than the cross harmonious green and cross black, but not that dark. I've seen darker. Next is the Penlux Delgado. This is the peacock color. This is a piston filler. This is one of my favorites to write with for the month. Penlux Delgado. Peacock. This is one of those pens that you just fall in, or I fell in love with from the first stroke. It's a medium steel. I do believe this is Jovo. And this is inked with J. Arbon Lidite, another dry ink, but it works really well in this pen. You wouldn't even know it's a dry ink. The flow is just excellent. I only have one other Penlux, and that's the Masterpiece Grande with a stub nib. And I like yellow and brownish inks in both of those pens. But that's not the prettiest pen, but it's nice. I really like Penlux. So that's that one. Next we have the Maki-e Liberta Pulsar. Bought this at Atlas's last chance sale. Saved a lot of money. This is an Ebonite pen. It's one of one. Pulsar. This is a fine 14 karat. Has some bounce. Doesn't really like it when you flex it. It's a fairly soft gold nib. And it's inked with Tasha Ume Murasaki. Usually I have Waterman inspired blue in this, but I wanted to switch it up for the month. I really enjoy this pen. Glad I picked that up. So moving on, the last four. This is another Grail pen. This is the Visconti Medici. It's in the briarwood pattern. It is not wood. It's some kind of resin that's made to look like wood, but it's the usual Ponte Vecchio clip, engraved. Some little trellises there. You can see the ink. You can see how much ink is in there. And this is an 18 karat gold extra fine nib, which is beautiful. I bought this from Bertram's Inkwell on eBay. Bertram has a shop in Rockville, Maryland. I went to pick it up from there. And he's also the, what would you call him, the organizer of the Baltimore Washington Pen Show. It's very smooth. I really love wood pens, so whenever I can pick up something that's wood or looks like wood or it's matte, I usually jump on it. Extra fine 18 karat. Just a nice pen. I didn't have to do anything to this. And it's been inked with the same ink the whole time. Well, I've had to refill it, but the same ink color. This is Andrellium Cuttlefish Brown. Which is a little bit, pretty much anything brown will probably match this. But that's the Medici. It is a vac filler. The usual Visconti My Pen system there. That's the Medici. I think I first saw that on Penultimate Dave's channel. Next up is the Platinum 3776 Century. This is the Hagakure Maki-e Yurushi Sensui. This pen actually got lost in the mail. I bought this off of eBay, and USPS said they handed it to me, handed it to the resident, and they didn't. So this was at someone else's house for about 2 weeks, and I went through the process of, having UPS look into it, having the seller look into it, and they both were like, well, it says it was delivered to you, so you got it. Luckily, 2 weeks to the date, it was in my mailbox. I'm very happy to see it. It had been opened, but it was intact. The pen was still in plastic. So luckily, fountain pens, we love them, but I don't think a lot of people love them. So they were like, we don't want this. But I was very happy and frustrated at the same time when it came to my door. So I never really had much luck with the 3776. I only have one other, and it is one of my least favorite pens. It is the 3777. It's the 3776 Nice, the one with the ridges on it. That's very uncomfortable, and I didn't really like the nib. So I said to get this one the best chance, I would put I would put Diamond Writer's Blood in it, and it worked. So Kara Higa, I probably got that backwards. Higa Kara, Maki-e Sensui. I think they have 2 or 3 other patterns. This is a medium 14 karat gold nib. So this is a little bit less expensive than your typical Maki Yurushi pen, because they use some screen printing to create this pattern as opposed to the hand drawing, and then cover it with layers of Yurushi. So that's the just some ships and some trees. Beautiful pen. I'm very glad that it showed up to my box, and I do enjoy writing with it. I like that medium nib. It works well. Next pen is the MontBlanc. I showed this on my channel a few times as well. The MontBlanc Boheme. This one is always posted because it's a smallish pen. MontBlanc Boheme. And this is a medium 14 karat. The Bohemes are getting pricier and pricier and pricier. I've been eyeing them because I wanted to get one with one of the stones, but they're just so expensive. But this is a beautiful writer. Super, super comfortable. It's just nice. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a retractable, and they only use cartridges. The Mahjong X1 is a pretty good copy of this. See, I got the one without the stone. They have various stones that you can have on the clip. The ones without the stones are less popular, so I was able to get this at a decent price. And lastly, for the currently inked, is another MontBlanc. This is the MontBlanc 145. This is the Chopin. And this is the UNICEF version. Has a little pseudo gem there, surrounded by the UNICEF leaves, or whatever that is, filigree. So this is the MontBlanc. Usually I use gentle inks in my MontBlancs, but I decided not to this time. medium 14 karat. And this has a nice sheeny ink. This is Cult Pens ink. Diamond Cult Pens. This is Christine. Christine has a nice red sheen. It's not super viscous, but viscous enough. Doesn't really do anything reverse. That's the nib, small nib. And just a cartridge converter. And I do keep my labels. But that's the MontBlanc 145 Chopin. And I'll show you the inks before I talk about my extras. So that's the Five Below pen, and this has just the black cartridge in it. Very nice writer. The H718 with Auto Oud Red Roses. It's getting really noisy outside. People are enjoying the nice weather. Waldman Salon with Diamond Ink Jingleberry. The Cross Bailey Light in Translucent Green with extra fine nib with Cross Black and Waterman Harmonious Green. Another green pen is the Visconti Van Gogh, the Novel Reader with Roaring Klinger Alt Gold Green. The Pelikan M800 40 Years of Suberon with Pelikan 4001 Special Edition Dark Green ink. The Penlux Delgado Peacock with J. Aubin Lee Dutay. Pretty good match there. And lastly, we have the Maora Liberta Nino Moreno Pulsar with Tasia Umi Murasaki. Not a match at all, but it worked well in this pen. Our last five. The Visconti Medici Briarwood and Extra Fine with Andrellium Cuttlefish Brown. Pretty good match. The Platinum 3776 Maki-e Sensui with Diamond Writer's Blood. Not a match at all, but I wanted to go with, one of my favorite inks to kind of get rid of the negative energy with the pen. But I really love writing with this pen. So happy it showed up. The MontBlanc Boheme with a medium 14 karat gold nib, inked with MontBlanc Royal Blue. It's pretty much the only, well, not the only one. I also use the MontBlanc Around the World in 80 Days, and this as well. I'm a little wary of cleaning this one. I think there's a whole procedure to clean this out, so I tend to try to keep the same ink in it. Lastly, at the MontBlanc 145 Chopin UNICEF version with Diamond Christine. See, Christine has that red sheen. I really loved all of the inks. They were just flawless. I'm really surprised how that one worked out, and Lee Dutay, as I said, but some of the inks are drier than others, but they all worked well in these pens. My favorite pens from this currently inked, I'll have to say the Cross Bailey, this one, and I'm going to keep these in my top two. And also I have to give an honorable mention to the Five Below pen. Just really surprised how well this writes. I have really no complaints with any of these. But these were definitely the ones that I enjoyed the most. Quite a bit of a price difference in these pens. Again, we have $1. This is about $40. This is I got it on sale, but I think it's like $1,000 or something, maybe more than that. Yeah, price really doesn't matter too much these days. You can get a great pen really cheaply. So I said I'm going to give you an update on my pens that I bought at the Baltimore Pen Show. So we had the Mondu Stefanu, the Carolina Pen Company. This is Charlotte. The indelible pens. This is the Kronos. And the Diplomat Arrow and Black Forest. I'm happy to say that these all are still lovely writers, and I still love writing with them. I think I'm close to running on fumes, or close to empty on quite a few of these. This one didn't wow me when I did the initial impressions on this paper, but this works really nicely on my black and red paper. I loved writing with that, with the black and red. And it's also nice. It's nice on this one as well. But yeah, I really love this on black and red. Just great pens. Very happy to get these at the Baltimore Pen Show. So if you're interested in my initial thoughts, you can go back to that video and check that out. And show you my another favorite this is a holdover from last month. Just really couldn't put this down. This is the Graphon Faber-Castell Tomitio in Stone Gray. Yeah, I just really love this pen. So I probably wrote with this most of the month than any of these other pens. I was always reaching for this. And lastly, my other cross, Bailey's. So I got a rollerball, 2 rollerballs, 2 ballpoints. This is the clear one. This is a rollerball. I must say I don't like the ballpoint writing experience. Luckily, the inks, the rollerball ink and the ballpoint, both fit in the pen. So I will probably take these ballpoints out and put in a nice rollerball. So I'll show you how nicely the rollerballs write compared to the ballpoint. It's just smoother. Super smooth. So much prefer to write with the rollerballs. And this is another rollerball. So I have them in all 4 colors. And soon to be all rollerballs. And then I got the other fountain pens. This one has a little leakage going on, so I have to clean that out. I'm not sure what I did. Maybe I didn't tighten down the cartridge enough, but make sure I clean that out. This is not to be eyedroppered because it has metal threads. There's metal threads here, so you can't really eyedropper it. But these are all unfortunately extra fine, or fortunately, depending on your liking. But they all write excellent. No complaints. I'm greedy. I had to have them in all the colors. So that's my currently inked and some of my other favorites for the month. Thank you for joining me. If you have any questions about any of these pens, feel free to put a comment below and I'll get back to you. Thank you.